Welcome to Castin, Cajun. We're in Orange Beach, Alabama for the 36th Annual Memorial Day Tournament. We're aboard the Sea, a 68-foot black whale sport fishing yacht. So get ready for an exciting half hour with Castin Cajun.
The Gulf, you can catch pretty much anything here, you know. It's blue marlins and down to bottom fishing, and tuna fishing is really good, and so it's like our backyard. So I really like being in the Gulf more than anywhere. My dad started taking me fishing from in the marsh to inshore salt water, and then eventually started going offshore, and just love being out here, you know. It's like our playground. We have a very unique group of guys that work on this boat. We got a guy from Kona, Hawaii, Ghana, Africa, and Chris and I are from the same area in Louisiana.
You get a bite, usually I can tell when it pops off.
Most of the stuff that I do on the SIA is a lot of the rigging, preparation to go fishing. That's anywhere from spooling reels, making leaders, sharpening hooks, and then from there, once we get a fish on, most of the time I grab the leader on the fish. That's pretty much the ending part of catching a marlin.
But a beautiful boat, y'all can tell. Nice, has a great crew, great captain. Frankie and Aki is two of the best that you can find around.
My experience on this boat in 2008, I joined the first SIA call, the Wild Hooker, and I traveled around the world fishing. And then Oski, as you see him on the background, he was my captain. And then we ended up coming back to the States, and then I ended up working on the SIA for almost 5 years now.
Well, look, on this trip, we hope to catch a real big marlin, place first, and win a whole lot of money. You know, the great thing about the Gulf Coast in the summertime is the number of fishing tournaments that go on across the Gulf Coast. They're big money fishing tournaments that attract a lot of boats. I think this tournament has about 70 boats in it. That's a lot of fishing, a lot of money, and a lot of action, hopefully. And we hope that we'll be successful on this trip and get a, 700-800 pound billfish. But you know, even if you come to Louisiana, whether you fish in a tournament or whether you're just fishing recreational, you know, you're gonna get some action. As fast as I can. All right, look. Frankie? I love to fish. I'll wet a line anytime you give me an opportunity. You know, I can tell you that you know, growing up down here in South Louisiana and having an opportunity to have this kind of action this close to your home, it's a blessing. I can tell you, it really is. Thing about live baiting is that you get to take that reel from in the gunnel all the way into the chair, and of course, you know, the shark at that time is taking drag, and slowly increasing that drag, increasing the poundage of that drag. You put it in the gunnel, you strap yourself in, and then, you know, it's you and that shark.
Yeah.
It's all practice.
Yeah. Camera in the water.
That means all the gear's working. You get to see who wins. And yeah, it took us a while. You know, I guess it took us 30, 40 minutes to bring it in. You know, and we just slowly increased the drag on it. Finally got it up to a point where we could get the leader in, bring it in, and, you know what we had. And of course, when we saw it was a shark, we cut it loose.
Joel saw a black whale, which is the same make as this boat, 68 black whale, called the Sia. He saw it at a boat show, and he really wanted to build a boat just like it, but he was able to customize it through this boat builder Blackwell. And he built it exactly how he wanted it, with all the electronics he wanted, mezzanine seating, tuna tubes for the way we fish. Yes, the appeal of the outside look of it is definitely draws a lot of attention, but also how everything's customized. You know, drink box has ice shooting into it. We have a barbecue pit on the back deck and insulated boxes for any food and stuff. And you know, TV pops out the granite countertop, that kind of stuff. It's a pretty unique boat.
Normally, when you're pulling lures, you pull anywhere from 4 to 6, and you pull them at different distances behind the boat. Today, we're fishing with live tuna, and both baits are about the same distance behind the boat, but the difference is on the starboard side, we have this one hooked up to an electric reel with a heavy weight, which keeps the bait down at about 40 feet. On the port side, we're pulling the other tuna close to the surface.
Blue Marlin, it's not that different. Most fish are fairly simple when you're trying to find them. To current, a lot of times you just need to know where the current's coming from, depending if you're fishing a ledge, a small structure, and wherever that current's pushing up against, you're looking for the upwelling, which then brings a small bait. And once you have the small bait, the tunas will come in and they'll eat that. And then, you know, if you're a tuna fisherman, that's what you're looking for. If you're a marlin fisherman, you're looking for the tunas that are eating that small bait.
Got Jeff Landry on the fish.
I got started bill fishing back in 1994, 1995 with a friend of mine, Mark Fontenot and Alan Stewart. We used to fish in his little 35-foot boat. We'd go all the way out to the Olga back when offshore drilling, deepwater offshore drilling, first became real popular. I fished in Costa Rica, in Hawaii, out in the Bahamas, and at the end of the day, I can tell you, when it comes to action, the action's right here in the Gulf of Mexico, right here off the coast of Louisiana. You can't beat it. I was a perch jerker way back in the day. You know, I started fishing with my grandfather out in the Chapelai Basin, just fishing for sac-a-lait, brim, catfish. And of course, you know, as I got older, a number of my friends had parents that fished on the shelf, and we started snapper fishing. And then again, like I said, in 1994, 1995, a good friend of mine, Mark Fontenot, had a 35-foot aluminum boat that he had bought, and we wanted to go further and further. And you know, when Shell put the Olga out south of Cameron, it gave us an opportunity to go out there and catch real big fish. And that's what we did.
Moving his chair around for him, keeping him in position on the fish.
And of course, you know, once you go out there and once you start catching those size fish, it's addicting. This Gulf is full of action. That's a great thing about fishing the Gulf of Mexico out here. You will get action time in and time out. I don't think there's ever been a trip where I've gone out and we haven't caught something.
Got it by the tail. The tail right. Another shark, huh? Huge.
Before the tournament, we're not having the same luck as we did last trip, but we came out on a scouting mission, 3-day trip, and we encountered 5 blue marlins, which is excellent fishing. Caught 2, almost caught 3. They were all nice-sized fish, so we were looking forward to the tournament. And we come out to the same rigs that we were going to fish. We fished last week, and conditions have changed, currents changed, so we're trying to make it work now by fishing other places.
Well, you know, one of the great things that we're doing on this trip is live baiting, which is fairly new to the Gulf of Mexico. You know, not a lot of fishermen over the past years have live baited, but it's become more and more popular. And of course, today, unfortunately, that live bait attracts sharks, and we caught 2 real big sharks. We landed that big 12-foot, 10, 12-foot shark that you get, you know, that many of the viewers out there see on the camera. And you know, it was like it's like reeling in a small Toyota.
Yesterday was real slow. Really couldn't find any bait, no current. The first spot we stopped at, we'd been doing good at the beginning of the summer, but it was in green water. So we ran, tried to find blue water, and we did, but no bait, no current, and a lot of sharks. We haven't seen sharks like that in years, so as you can see, we hooked up on plenty yesterday.
The current wasn't all that great, and you know, when the current is not all that great, what happened is probably different currents were pushing each other, and the sharks and all that stuff came up. So you can see we caught a couple of sharks. Probably could be the current problem, or probably could be that the sharks are around. So that's how it went yesterday.
Well, today we just got the Insco, and it's by far the best looking rig we found this weekend. Water's nice, we found plenty of bait, nice current. Not too many boats, so hopefully we'll hook up and catch a big one.
What I'm doing is making sure that we get the rod into the gimbal. We get it into the gimbal, we hook up. And then we start reeling, because you want constant pressure on that line.
The condition looks great. We have a really good current. A couple of boats also are fishing around here, and I can see just that we have a lot of grass. It doesn't mean that the fish won't bite. We just have to anticipate and see what happens as we fish.
After reeling in 3 sharks, Jeff finally gets to reel in a marlin.
Pressure is the thing that keeps you from losing a fish. As long as you've got pressure on that line, you put pressure on that hook, you won't lose a fish. So the most important thing to do is you're just constantly reeling. If the boat's backing down, you want no slack in that reel. And that's all we did. You just keep pressure. You just keep cranking as fast as you can. As long as that fish will give you the ability to take line, you want to take line. Every inch that he gives you, you take. And of course, you know, you take some and then he takes some. You take some, then he takes some. And at the end of the day, every time he gives you 1 inch, you take it.
It took a while, but like I said, this is gonna be an exciting half hour with Castin Cajun. That one was caught on the skipjack that we were pulling near the surface. Jeff did a wonderful job reeling him in. You can tell he's done it before.
Beautiful fish.
Look, every time you hook a billfish, it is a thrill of a lifetime, regardless of the size of it. You know, today we came up a little short in weight class in this particular tournament, but at the end of the day, it was a great thrilling opportunity. You know, we caught a fish, we brought it in about 6 minutes, we had it, and look, the crew out here, the crew on the sea is unbelievable. I mean, these guys are like artists. At the end of the day, they are, I would stack them against any other crew out here on the Gulf Coast, actually out here around the globe. They know what they're doing. But it was real exciting. You know, it came up and took the top live bait that we had out there, and he ran out, I guess, about 500-600 yards, and we got on the reel, put a bunch of pressure on him. Renee did a great job backing down, and we tagged him, and we were back in business in 12 minutes.